Thanks for tuning in again. And this is part 2 of the last episode. It was so good, we had to put it into parts. So I hope you enjoy it.
This is very recent too, so I can't really speak much on it. But recently, I've been reading about the mind and how traditionally we think the mind is in the brain. Mm-hmm. And it is for the most part. Mm-hmm. But it also happens that scientifically they have proven this now. So what I'm saying, if you're going to get mad at me, don't get mad at me, get mad at science. What has happened is that they now know it's actually a magnetic field around your body that can interact with the rest of the world. They did this very cool experiment. And first, let me explain the experiment itself, and then let me explain how they added the mind thing to it. Mm-hmm. So there's this experiment where they take photons, which is light particles, and they shoot it out of a cannon into this flat piece of metal with two openings, kind of flat openings that look like eyes. Mm-hmm. It looks like the number 11. Mm-hmm. And they shoot the photons through them. And no one looks at it. Like, there are no human eyes looking at this experiment. It happens in a room on its own. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that during that situation where no one is looking at it, photons act like waves. You see, instead of seeing 2 perfect eyes, you'll see 4 or 5. Because it'll go in a wave and they'll give you different results at the other end. Mm-hmm. Once humans are in the room observing it, it acts as a straight line. It only gives you 2 lines. Science has proven that there's tangling, it's called quantum entanglement, which with particles, where a particle doesn't actually have a shape or isn't positive or negative until you see it. Kind of like that cat in the box experiment, where you put the cat in the box and you put poison. You don't know if it's dead or alive until you open the box. Same thing, particles at the quantum level don't have a particular shape or anything until they are visualized by humans, by consciousness. By energy, correctly. We give it a frequency which gives it its shape. This is scientifically speaking. You can Google this for the listeners.
I'm not good at science, so this is intriguing.
So then what happens is that they did the same experiment, but with people meditating. And they said to people, well, you're going to be in the room across the hall, and we're going to do the same experiment over here, and there's going to be nobody in that room, and we're going to see how the particles react when you think about them. Not see them with your eyes, but when you think about the particles, let's see if they react as if you were seeing them. And what they found was that in a grand majority of the trials they did, meditating on being in the room causes the particles to react as if you were in the room.
That's amazing.
This is, again, facts. You can Google this.
Right.
So then that alone is like, okay, so not only do your eyes perceive the world and give the world shape, quantum entanglement, but your thought, your ability to think yourself into the room, to visualize it, affects the particles at the quantum level.
I 100% believe that.
So that is like, wow, there's a field here. You can feel it. You can have your eyes closed and you can feel things when they get close to you. When people are staring at you, even if you're not looking directly, you can feel stare. There are things that your mind, not your brain, your mind perceives around you. Long distances too, not just like immediately. So all of those things are just kind of coming into consciousness now, and science agrees with them. Like science isn't saying no. Science is saying like, yeah, we didn't know this is it.
And it took all this time.
It took all this time.
Admit it, yeah.
Yeah, it took all this time, and that's why in my podcast I talk about a lot of ancient knowledge, because we have a lot of technology, material technology. We've mastered it. We've mastered materialistic things. Our kids are 8, 9, 7 years old playing with iPhones. That's a fact. We're masters of the material world. We've done it. But our ancient civilizations, our ancestors, were good at spiritual things that we went the other way. So their 7, 8, 9-year-olds were thinking about stars and mind, and spirituality and all these different things, completely different than what we're thinking now. Yeah. So I look into that past, and all the answers are not all there, but they have a root. They have an understanding in all of their religions, not just one. That's why I don't focus on Christianity or Islam, or I focus on all of them. Spirituality as a whole. They all have something which gives you the answers. And intuition, which is really the mind, is something you can tap into, like the internet. But we really don't know how to do it yet. Some people have done it, presumably, right? If you want to go with the narrative, and I go with it, but I'm just saying if you want to. All of those things are coming into a place now where I think the reason why I'm talking about this is because I think that female and male energy right now are going on a switch. And here's why. You have, I'm going to put it this way. If you think about religions as male and female, you would see that Christianity and Islam are very male-dominated, male frequency religions. Whereas if you think about Hinduism and Buddhism and others from the East, mostly from the East, they're very female-based. By female energy, I mean that. What that means is that if you want to become a Buddhist, you have to go there. They're very inclusive. It's all about internalizing things and being with yourself. The Eightfold Path, giving away desires, giving away things that are materialistic. It's very, spiritual. Internal. Male-dominated religions, for the most part. I can bring in Judaism too. Judaism, Christianity, which is really kind of the same. And Islam, they're male-dominated religions. Why? Because our ancestors were introduced to Christianity and Islam while under oppression. Christianity goes after you. They turn you. Right? They conquer and they go and they spread. And if you don't turn, it's a problem. They're going to turn you. Why? Because they're aggressive. They want you to be part of this. And if you don't want to, we'll play along for a little bit. But eventually, you're going to get turned somehow.
One way or another.
One way or another. Which is why Christianity dominates the world today, because they're spread all over. So then what happens? Now, in this particular time in human history, not only are atheists and agnostics coming up in the world, Christianity is going down in the world. But most importantly, when I say going down, I mean in popularity. I mean in popularity, it's going down. Now, what's happening is that we're transitioning in terms of technology. So in 20 years, AI is going to be Google. What happens is that the desire or the need to be a strong person that goes after it isn't going to be there, because robots and computers are going to do most things. So what's left? Internal. Yourself. The only things we can do are services for ourselves. At some point, there's going to be nothing physical, nothing to go after. It's only going to be, who are we? What are we doing? What are we going to meditate today for 8 hours?
What are you going to manifest?
What are you going to manifest? So then that's where female energy is coming up in the world, and rightfully so, and why I feel like us men too should cater more towards female energy, because we will have to. Very soon, we're going to have to.
And I think you guys are already doing it. I mean, I'm already seeing it in my environment, for
exactly.
Sure.
This is happening. It's a real thing. I'm not the one to sound off on things that are like, oh yeah, this is this time period.
No, there's happening. A transition. I think it's very clear too.
It's very clear,
yeah. Watching Silicon Valley and how like Amazon is delivering things for you, and like you're no longer in need to go and getting anything and doing anything. Really, I thought it was specifically related to time and how time was moving a lot faster. But the way that you've outlined it, it's pretty clear that it's more of shifting this awakeness, right? Like this whole woke phenomenon that we're in.
It's happening. It's going to get stronger and stronger.
It's based on that.
It's based on that.
That our transition is becoming, the fact that we're tapping into more inwards. And that's going to help us shift into a different type of environment, because that's what we have to adapt to.
So that's where balance comes in, right? So for the last 2,000 plus years, let's say 3,000 years, we've been very male dominated. And it's been good in the sense that we've been successful.
Right.
I mean, we've gotten here, right? We got planes and we got cars and we got iPhones. And it needed to have the drive to get there. Now that we're here, we're going to go, okay, well, now what? Now we need to dial it down in that. Dial it down. Let's be inclusive now. Let's bring the rest of them up.
The tribes, they go back to tribes, communities,
let's
connection.
Exactly. Now we need female leaders. This is why we need female leaders.
And there's so many females being born too. I was just talking about this yesterday.
This is happening for a reason. It's a thing. Mm-hmm. The world knows, or we need more female leaders because now we need to be more inclusive. Mm-hmm. We've already scattered over the world. We're about to go to different places in the solar system. It's all about now. Let's be inclusive here. Let's take care of this. And women are the best at that. Naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally. So that's why that's why I wanted to bring up that article, which I can't find and I hate it, that talked about women and men as leaders being preferred in those different type of circumstances. So let me explain it for our listeners real quick. The experiment went like this. They asked about 100 people who would they prefer to be their leader on two specific situations. One is internally, one is externally. Externally, meaning having a leader that deals with a neighbor, a confrontation, some sort of outside party, either friendly or foe. Doesn't matter, as long as it's outside. And then you have the internal leader, which is the one that is inclusive, brings everything together, manages everyone's talents, makes sure that every person is good, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Let's make sure that we're okay. And that's the female preferred leader. Let me give you an example. The President of the United States, right? Unfortunately, we think of the President as our leader overall. But the facts are this. The President of the United States, it's a 5-star general. It's a commander-in-chief, which is a military position for external conflict. Our president is supposed to go represent us externally, which is why it's president represents. Now, let me give you this. When you go to like UN and you go to different countries around the world, the president is supposed to represent them. You have these different delegates and different and ambassadors, which help him do the job because he can't visit every country. But that's his role, really, external role. Commander-in-chief, protect the country in case there's an invasion, a fight, whatever. Deal with external forces. Somebody's at the border. Somebody's trying to whatever. That's the president, which is usually a man, right? Traditionally. And we're not going to get into that because we know it's because of, men have been in power, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is that job for a man is pretty good, traditionally, and what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, protecting and all that.
But unfortunately, we've also given that man the responsibility to manage the country, which they're not good at. So then all the problems that we have, or the reasons why we don't like our presidents for the most part, is because they're not supposed to be doing this. We need someone that's worried about internal conflict. Why do you think Trump is worried about a wall? He's not worried about healthcare and being inclusive to you and making sure that you and I are okay. He's worried about a wall because all he wants to do is do what he's supposed to do, which is protect. And that's it. He's going to take the next 2 years of his life to get that wall. He's not going to care about healthcare and all these different things that we should be focusing on, that you might focus on, and even I might focus on. But he's focusing on his male aggressive energy into war over there. We need to look good. That's what he cares about, because that's what a man, for the most part, does. External conflict. That's what it is. And it all goes back to the way we were raised, the way we were born, the way we evolved as a species. When you have a conflict, you send out the best available people to handle that conflict. For the most part, growing up or in our evolution, it turned out to be a physical conflict. And physically speaking, when half the women are pregnant and can run, but all the men are not pregnant and can run, and I'm saying it like that for a purpose, then automatically the men have to go run and get the food and bring the food back to the women, which can walk because they're pregnant. And we all know that in a scenario where you have, I'm going to call it a finite survival scenario.
Survival of the fittest.
Yes. We as a species recognize one thing. You can have 10 people. You can have 9 men and 1 woman. Or you can have 9 women and 1 man. You tell me which scenario survives most of the time, which one survives as a species. 9 females and one man.
Procreation.
We understand this, and it's in our DNA. If we are in a ship with 200 people and only 80 people fit in lifeboats, and it's going down, every dude will be okay. Not every dude, maybe not. Most dudes would be okay with the following statement: women and children first. Dudes wouldn't even fight it. There might be a dude or two and might be like, "Well, what about?" No.
Right.
Don't even fight it, bro. That's it. We need to stay and figure it out on our own. And if we don't make it, then we are good. We sacrificed for the future. And nobody argues that. Right. And it's because we understand, it's about women. They're going to take us to the next level. Mm-hmm. You're really the species. Mm-hmm. You don't say rooster. Who came first, the rooster or the egg? Mm-hmm. You don't say that.
No, it's always a chicken or the egg.
Which is a hen. It has to be a hen. Mm-hmm. You say chicken because you want to be politically correct. You know it's a hen.
Right, because that's the only thing
okay.
you can have.
So that's what it is. The species is always female. We're just the soldiers. We're the sacrificial pawns. I mean, I can go into this. Some guys don't like it.
Even the sperm is the soldiers, right?
Yes. A bunch of them go in and only one makes it. Usually one. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I understand this and I'm perfectly comfortable with that idea. Some men don't like it. They want to retain the power. Mm-hmm. Giving up power it's not easy.
Right.
But we have to get there. And we've been having this conversation. You know why?
And we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. So how are we healing our lineage when we are, as you said, set to be negative, to be assertive and confront? Like, how do we heal this negativity of being too much?
Well, you have to heal yourself. Healing yourself and healing internally is the only thing you can do, or at least first, in order to heal other people. And since you're talking about lineage, you're talking about specifically, let's say my family, for example, my lineage. I'm the youngest of 7, so it's unconventional for me to be the leader in my family, but I am. Mm. And I didn't know that until like 3 years ago. And I'm 32. Well, I'm about to be 32. So the fact that I realized that so late is a blessing. Because I had the time. And I grew up with mostly women. I have 4 sisters. My parents weren't together for a little while when I was young. So growing up, I grew up with women in a salon. She had a salon in the living room, in the house, in DR. So I wake up every Saturday morning and I would hear women chattering. So I was very used to the idea of women being around, women conversations, and just knowing that there was a lot of things that we were doing as men that were not cool. Even though I ended up doing some of them myself. Right. But then I understood when I did them, and I understood myself even before doing them. Like now I put myself in situations now where I can see that I'm about to do the wrong thing, and I stop it. Mm-hmm. Now I know that. A few years ago, I want to say 5, 6 years ago, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So that time that I got because of my father and because of my family as a whole, gave me the opportunity to analyze myself, which is what we're doing here tonight all the time, to really stop certain cycles that I didn't think were beneficial for our family. Mm-hmm. For example, I have no problem saying that my sister, Elizabeth, second youngest, she's really the leader of our family in DR. She lives in DR. Mm-hmm. And I've sort of took the mantle here. But communicating with her and understanding her perspective as a single mom now, really that's how I guide myself. Because I know her life is twice as hard as me. Probably 3 times as hard as me. And she's doing things that I question whether I could do them or not. Mm. And so that perspective of, you think your life is hard? Look at your sister. You think your life is hard? Look at your mom's life or how it was. Don't make the same mistakes that your parents made or your other siblings made, or that you could make because you know better. You had the time to analyze yourself. Mm-hmm. You had the time to look at the mistakes and say, okay, there's another way. So now if I do make that mistake, it's because I wanted to.
Decision.
So then you ask yourself, do I want to make that mistake? And that's when you start discovering who you are. Mm. And that's where we break that lineage. That's where we break that cycle of doing bad things. For example, this whole, I'm Dominican, and I love being Dominican. And Dominicans get such a bad rap for good reason, because there's Dominican men, yes. for I want to say for good reason, because we, for some reason, and I think I know why, we like it. Men like it. Dominican men like the fact that for a long time we were thought of as mujeriego.
And machismo.
They like it. I'm telling you, as a man, they like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, starting to turn into too much. Mm-hmm. Because now, some of us that have been through that for a long time are getting tired of it. And they're like, wait a minute, I'm trying to do good here and I'm still being perceived as that. Mm-hmm. But for a long time, we liked it. We enjoyed the whole alpha male, go after it. Mm-hmm. And if you can't lie, and if you have to lie, cheat and more and whatever, until you get what you want. Manipulate, do whatever you have to do. And that's a lot of male energy. Mm-hmm. Because at that point, you're not concerned with how you're going to be seen. You're concerned with, I want her and whatever she has. I'm going to say and do whatever I have to say and do. To get her. As long as it's not too crazy. And sometimes it's crazy.
Sometimes it's crazy.
To get her. And I have a wife, but I'm going to do it anyway because I need to prove to myself that I can get that woman. Now my mentality is completely different. My mentality is, I'm going to approach a woman once, the whole night. And if it didn't work, and this is probably my female energy speaking, if it didn't work and I'm okay with like chilling with friends, that's it. I'm just going to have some drinks, enjoy the rest of the night, and not worry about women. Right. That's completely different than my mentality 10 years ago. My mentality 10 years ago was, yo, I need to get 3 or 4 numbers. Tonight. And one of these is going down. That was the mentality 10 years ago. Now it's like, it's okay. Let's just have a drink. If she's looking at me, I might be like, all right, let me go talk to her. Mm-hmm. But it's completely different. So we're already breaking that. Right. The fact that I'm 32 without kids, I'm breaking that. Mm-hmm. My father had 7. 4 of them out of marriage. Mm-hmm. And not only that, I have cousins. I have 3 cousins of mine. You know them. Ed just had a kid. Yeah. He's 34. Mm-hmm. About to be 35.
Which is late.
Extremely late. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to say extremely late.
It's just late. Just not as
naturally.
Early.
Naturally, it's late.
Not as early as people expected.
Exactly. And most of my friends, believe it or not, most of them, I want to say 10 friends, my dudes. One of them has kids. And they're all my age. Well, let me make sure that's true. Danny has a kid. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And we're all in our early 30s. So it's like we're breaking this cycle. Yeah. We're not doing things irresponsibly where we're bringing kids into this world and not taking care of them. Mm-hmm. We're not doing that. And none of my friends have done that. None of my friends. I feel like we haven't spoken about this, but I feel that if that happens and one of our friends is irresponsible with their kids, we will probably check them. Like straight up. We need to have a conversation. That is completely different. Mm-hmm. Completely.
Right, from starting. So for me, the way I'm breaking the cycle and healing my lineage is by encouraging my niece. And telling her when she's loud, when she's direct, when she asks for what she wants. I don't tell her, oh, don't say that loud or don't request that. Sometimes it pisses me off because sometimes she'll be like, no, I want that. It's like, you're 2 years old, you know? But at the same time, okay, you're 2 years old. What do you want? Okay, why do you want it? You know, like I'm not gonna encourage her to be disrespectful, but I'm gonna encourage her to really think about what she's asking. Really question her more. So every time she yells, why are you yelling? Tell me what you're trying to say. Speak your mind. You know, that's how I'm healing my lineage. Because I remember when I was that little girl. Oh, shut up. Oh, you're being disrespectful. Oh, why are you guys not telling her not to say that? Or don't be that. Don't be that. Don't be you. So I'm encouraging my niece to be her.
You have to speak up. Encouragement is one of the most powerful tools. Because you can shape it with their own confidence. Exactly. She already has the confidence to say it. Now you have to be like, well, why are you saying that? Oh, you sure? Ooh, and then just kind of let her
get.
It's the best. It's the best thing. But let me get back to this real quick. Because I want to tell you about Ed real quick. Mm-hmm. And here's why. He's definitely listening to this shit. Ed said something to me about 4 months ago. We were smoking cigars, having fun, boys' night. And I asked him, why do you go so hard at doing everything for your daughter? It wasn't the exact question, but that's kind of the point of the question. He said to me, it doesn't matter. It's my daughter. If I have to do everything, I'll do everything. There's no reason why another man or another person should change my daughter's diapers if I'm around. And I thought about that. I'm like, men don't usually say that.
Not even the mom, because I've seen him. Like, the mom is sitting right there.
He will take the baby away from her and like, nope, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And that touched me a lot because I was like, wow, I haven't heard people say that.
Right.
So I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that's important.
It's a powerful. It gives you insight into his mentality, which is okay. I'm going to take care of this. The mom is here. The mom is going to do great as well. But if she's not, I know how to take care of this. And that mentality is the one that I'm trying to carry too, and that I think that we are trying to carry in my family and in my our friends. I haven't seen any of that fuckery in my friends.
Right. We're changing. It's transitioning for sure. I think we're caring more. We're becoming more woke, which is
caring more. Absolutely.
So thank you so much for this. This is good.
It was good, right?
Another one.
Oh, shit.
Thanks for this collaboration, Relayshons Podcast and King Crooke Podcast.
Love it. Listen to it.
Stay tuned for more fun.
We're gonna have some more fun eventually. It's gonna be great.
And make sure you stay tuned for the after credits.
That's
See
right.
you guys soon.
See ya.
And now, the best part. Here are the after credits. A message from my co-host.
All right. So, male and female energy. You can think of these two things as a tree and a rock. A tree is going to always seek to grow, no matter what. It'll go through a window, it'll go through a roof, it'll go through anything. The roots will crack rock itself. It will crack the ground, the soil. It will get through the wood. A tree doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop. An organism that keeps going. A rock or earth is nourishing. It's solid. Doesn't break. It's endurance. It's resilient. That's female energy. So you can be a tree or you can be a rock, whichever one you want to be. Now, when you're in a situation where you don't know which one you want to be, look at the goals. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to listen to this other person? Then you need to be a rock. You need to be their rock so they can lean on you and you listen to their problems. And that's female energy. That's inclusiveness. That's bringing that person into your love and support and understanding them, or at least trying to. But if you need to be in a situation, or if you are in a situation where you need to be aggressive, you need to go after that goal, you need to crush that goal, then you need to be a tree. You need to see that problem, and no matter what, find a solution. And if you don't find a solution, then get someone else to help you find a solution. And those are your differences. Hopefully, we all learn how to do it more and more often so that we can be in a situation where someone needs to listen to you or you need to listen to them, and you can pick it up right away and do it successfully.